Welcome to RC Garage. Today we're going to be swapping out this busted lower control arm on this TMAXX. This truck's a little over 10 years old, runs good, just done minor maintenance to it. Today we're going to swap this part out with a bone stock part, nothing fancy here. I'm just going to swap it out. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how I do it. I know there's tons of other ways to do it. This is how I do it. First thing we're going to do is get this tire out of our way. We have one nut in the middle. It's an 8mm nut. Get that tire out of the way. We're going to go ahead and just set the truck up on the tire. Kind of makes it nice to work on. We're going to go ahead and disconnect both of the shocks. There's a screw in the front and a screw in the back, one for each shock. Get them out of our way real fast. These just thread into plastic, so they come out fairly easy. You can, in most of the positions, you can get under the steering link for this screw. If not, you may have to disconnect the steering link here and drop it out of your way. I do not, so I'm not going to do that. Get this other shock disconnected. There's absolutely no need to disconnect the shocks at the top unless you just want to. I'm not going to. To me, it's extra work, and extra work is more time consuming. I'm going to take this, there's two of these Allen nuts here. It is a 5.5mm Allen. Did I say that right? Nope, it's a 5mm Allen. Go in here, we're going to take this lower set screw out. It's actually a ball stop. It actually holds the ball in on the end of that control arm. It's kind of a funny looking little piece. It's got a little cup built onto it. Now we're going to switch over to a 2.5mm Allen. We're going to reach in here. Actually, you can see inside, you can see this is the ball end actually has a hex built into it. So we're going to reach in there and we're going to take that ball end out. Now we can get the upper control arm, the drive shaft, the steering link, all of that out of our way. Now we have one screw left here in the front. And I have these GPM skid plates, but there's one screw here in the front. I'm going to take that out. That holds the control arm to the differential housing. It's a little snug. Mine's been bashed into a few things before in its life, so, and it's bent. No worries, I'm not worried about it. Get in here where I can hold it better. It's almost, the threads are almost out. There's the ball just fell out on me. Should be about all the way unscrewed. Grab a bigger screwdriver here, maybe it'll make it a little easier on me. Make sure my arm's not all in the way here. Yeah, that's what I needed just a regular number 2 screwdriver here. I gotta get this pin, so we have to get this pin out. I'm gonna grab with some pliers here, get this pin out of here. my pin's bent, so this is going to be a little harder. but I will straighten it in a vise. See, mine's bent pretty good. And there's the broken control arm. You can see the side here is busted off. I'm pretty sure it caught a culvert. Wide open. So now we're going to swap to a new one. So here's the new one. I'm going to straighten this pin in this little vise real quick. A little hobby vise. Let's see if I can get that in there. There we go. Just going to put it in there and straighten it out a little bit. No reason to buy a new one. I've straightened these many a times. Bent them many a times. They'll eventually break. Once they break, then you have no choice. You pretty much have to replace them. It's a little better. Good enough for me. Now I'm going to make sure I get the busted piece out of here. It's just stuck in there. Now I done hauled butt now. And it's in there somewhere. Come on, little piece. Well, any damn. Hey, there it goes. So there was the broken piece we had. We'll go ahead and install the new one. Put our pin back in. You gotta line everything up. That's kind of what the worst part of the whole thing is lining it all back up. If my pin was perfectly straight, it makes it way easier. But this will work just fine. Got it almost all the way in now. I'm gonna slowly turn it in as I kind of push gently on it, making sure it goes through the back side here, making sure it goes through the, we get it in the picture here, making sure we go through the back side of the control arm. Kind of hard to see, it's not all the way through yet. And this screw does screw into plastic, so do not over tighten it. Just snug is all you need. We're going to go ahead and check our control arm. Feels good, nice and snug. Just make sure the shocks here are in the slots where they screw into. Now we're going to go ahead and screw the ball back through the hole here. Now we are screwing in the new plastic, so we have to make sure we take our time and get it started nice and square, as square as we can. I'm going to turn it around here so you can see it screwing into the plastic. If you go ahead and put a little bit of pressure up on it so everything here is in line. Let me square that up a little better for you guys. If you get it where everything's in line, that way you can make sure you get it square just right. And once again, we're screwing into plastic, so we want to make sure we take our time and don't over tighten. And that feels good right there for me. The threads are all inside the plastic housing. I'm going to go ahead and switch sockets back to the 5mm. And we will put our cap back in. This set screw ball cap. Now there should already be threads in your plastic housing because you took it out of that plastic housing. So make sure you really get it started really well And don't over tighten it and or cross thread it, because then you'll have to replace the steering knuckle, and you don't want to do that if you don't have to. Just put it in there snug. I'm gonna go ahead and check the top one while I'm right here. It could use a turn or two, make my steering a little tighter. Now we have to reattach our shocks. So we're going to go back to the small screwdriver. Now there are multiple shock holes, different positions, depending on how you set your suspension up. I live down in South Florida, so I like to set mine kind of stiff because we're in the sand, and I like to get as much power to the ground, so I set it in the second position. Now if you don't remember which hole you took it out of, you can, one, look at your old part, and you can see where hole was clean. That's actually backwards, so let me hold it this way. Or just look at the other side. That's an easy way to do it as well. So let's get these shocks mounted back up. Make sure we line the hole up in the shock. And this is going into plastic once again, so we need to be nice and easy. And don't over tighten. There's no Loctite needed going into plastic. Actually, I don't even know if the Loctite will bond to the plastic, honestly. We're also going to redo the rear one now. There's no good way to get this one in the shot, so I'm just going to do my best here to get it started and around for you guys. Where's it at? Might have to pick the shock up a little bit. Yep, I have to get in here and push the shock up this a little bit, just like that. Now I can start the screw. This one's also going into plastic. Can't overstress that enough, how important it is not to over tighten screws that go into plastic, because then you'll be replacing it again and your brand new part is now trash. Of course, with these you could move it to a different shock hole, different mounting position, but then you have to change it on all the truck. So there we go. We have a brand new control arm. Everything moves good. All I did was cut one little knuckle, no big deal. I skint that on this rough aluminum here for where I bashed into things. Put the wheel back on. Well, if I get it in the right spot here. Oops, sorry, I just knocked the heck out of the camera. There we go. Switch back to our 8mm socket and start the wheel. I don't like to over tighten my wheel nuts. Some people really tighten them up tight. I don't. A little bit more than hand tight is good. I check them every time I run it, so that way I know they're going to be good before they cut, so they don't come off. There we go. That's how we change a lower control arm on a TMAXX. A lot of other vehicles are very similar. It's just a little step-by-step tutorial. You guys have a nice day and have fun RCing.